Hi, I'm Gail Weiner. I'm a dating coach and therapist. I want to talk to you today about emotional bidding and how emotional bidding can make or break a relationship. It's an easy thing to become tuned into, and as you become more aware of how you make an emotional bid or become aware that someone else is bidding for your emotional connection, you will be able to have more satisfying relationships, whether it's with someone you're dating, a long-term partner, your friends, your kids. It works with everybody. Emotional bidding is I like to think of it as the smallest unit of emotional exchange. John Gottman coined the term with his team of researchers who were looking into what makes for long-term satisfying marriages. And what they discovered was that couples who were happily married for at least 6 years from the time of the research, those couples made attempts to emotionally connect, small little moments that happen multiple times in a single day between two people. Those efforts of emotional bidding are responded to 9 out of 10 times in the couples who stay together happily for a long time. Couples who are divorcing within those 6 years respond to each other 3 out of 10 times. So that means, right, for every 10 efforts you make to connect, like you smile, but somebody doesn't smile back. You make a joke, they don't laugh. You look at them, but they don't make eye contact. You ask a question and you get a attacking response, or they ignore you, or there's some kind of a subtle put down. All of those things are non-responsive or turning away from the emotional bid. Couples who divorce only have a positive turning toward response 3 times out of 10. So you can see how important this is, how predictive this is to emotional happiness, to respond to the subtle and not so subtle attempts that someone is making to connect with you. One of the ways that emotional bidding goes wrong is that people frequently make fuzzy bids. They want something, but they're not making it totally clear that they want something. Why would people do that? Why would they sabotage themselves in this way? Well, there are a lot of reasons to make a fuzzy bid. And I want to give you an example of one and dissect it so we can see how easy it is to get in your own way, even when you know how important it is. So here's a situation I've come across on more than one occasion. Let's just make up somebody. Fran. I'm working with Fran, and she wants her boyfriend to acknowledge her efforts in their relationship more than he does. But she doesn't. She's actually ashamed that she needs his acknowledgement, and she feels like she should be able to give this to herself. She feels just asking for what she needs is a sign of her own weakness, her own inability to be as independent as she thinks she should be. So that's one part of it. Another part of it is she doesn't think he's going to be able to respond to her. So she expects to be disappointed. She expects to not get what she needs. And the last thing is that if she just asks him for the acknowledgement, says, I'd really appreciate it if you would. I'd really appreciate it. It would feel so good to me if you would thank me for having, done whatever. If she just leaves it there as an open request and tells him that it matters to her, then she experiences her own need for his response and her own dependence on getting something back from him, which makes her feel vulnerable. So part of her wants the acknowledgement, and part of her doesn't want to risk not getting the acknowledgement. And so her standard way of asking is to couch it as a criticism. So she'll say something like, I really would appreciate it if you would thank me once in a while for everything I do for you. Cringe, right? Everyone can hear that is unlikely, very unlikely to get her the response that she wants. And yet, if she couches her request, because really underneath it's a request, if she couches it as a criticism, she feels protected from being rejected because she's created the rejection of her bid by the way she's asked. I think you know what I'm saying, even if it's a little wordy. Let me try to say it one other way. She almost guarantees that he's going to not give her a heartfelt, sincere, and loving response because she's criticized him in her request. And it's much more likely, of course, that when you mix a criticism with a request for connection, that the other person is going to respond to the criticism part. And that you're going to end up feeling like it's useless to ask for what you want because you can't get it anyway. And it becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. There are lots and lots of ways that we can bid for emotional connection and respond to somebody else's bid. We can turn toward fully. We can, and the ways of doing that can be with a smile, a laugh, of leaning forward, a physical touch, making yourself available to really hear what the other person is saying. All of these are ways to turn fully toward a bid. You can give a more neutral response where you don't turn fully and encouragingly toward the person, but you don't turn fully away either. You can be, more neutral, like, I'm sure you can come up with a million examples from your own lives. And then turning away from a bid, you can do it by changing the subject. You can do it by ignoring the person. You can do it by criticizing them. You can do it by attacking what they've said. There are degrees of emotional violence, you could call it, with which someone can respond to a bid. Respond by turning away. So there's the full range of responsiveness. The more you can respond with a full availability to someone's bid, the better your relationship will be, and vice versa, the more they respond to your bids. Remember, 9 out of 10 times is the recipe for a lasting and happy relationship. So that's one little tip. Be aware of that in your own relationships and see what you can do to increase your responsiveness and to make bids in a way that give the other person the maximum chance to respond to you. If you want more ideas like this and how you can apply them to your own life, tune in again or come visit me at my website, datewise.now.com. Also, you can have a personal one-to-one complimentary consult with me. I'd love to hear from you on the website, and we'll take a look at the challenges in your own life and a few things you can do right now to move closer toward the kind of love relationship you want. Thanks. Tune in next time.